You are now listening to
The Really Joe podcast. Really Joe. Really.
All right, so today we got my guy, man. We go way, way back, as R. Kelly say, way, way back in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got my guy Jermaine Rudd, uh, also also known as Lil Maine to us, you know. So if you hear me say Lil Maine,
Man, I ain't heard that in a minute.
my bad. Hey man, you done changed your settings, man. You different now, you know.
Hey, man. Hey, that's what it's about, man. About growth, man.
Yeah, man. So look, we got Jermaine today, but we got a serious subject. It's one that I don't see most men go through, you know. So this is one reason why, I reached out to Jermaine and so he could give his insight. So, just to go ahead and get to the point, Jermaine is probably the only dude I know. Well, hold on, one of a couple, one of a handful that I know that's had full custody of his kid.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure how all of it came, how it came about, but you're one of just a couple dudes I really know where it's like, now I want my kid and, I'm going to raise them, like you don't even have to be a part of this. Well, I'm guessing that's how it went. But
Yeah.
if you don't mind me asking, just to start it off, man, what happened for you to realize, like, I want to get custody of my kid? I don't want joint custody. I don't want the bird nest where he half the time with you, half the time with me. What happened for you to realize that you need to go ahead and try to get the full custody?
Yeah. Well, first, man, appreciate you having me on, man, on your show and
Oh
everything,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, it was wild because I originally didn't even want to do it, to be honest with you. Just like most fathers, I guess you would say, you just wanted to have your visitations, basically. I fought it, many people, including my family members and other friends, they was always like, hey man, you need to try to pursue, get custody of your son. You need to try to do this, try to do that. And I was always like, man, no, I don't want to take him away from his mom. That was my main thing. Like, I don't want to take him away from his mom. And, trying to think on another level for him, because in my mind it's all about him. But, after a while, with all the back and forth and, with all the missing weekends, because that's what I had originally. I had, every other weekend. So it was some weekends where I didn't get them. So I would miss a weekend. It was times where it was refusal of weekends and stuff like that, man. So it was so much I was dealing with and going through. And then on the back end, when I did get him, it was so much going on with him. You know, I don't want to go in and say like this no abuse type situation, but it was far as him being taken care of properly. Let me put it that way. Him being taken care of properly. So I went on, man, and pursued it. And it was a long out, drawn out battle. And it really didn't dawn on me. It really didn't dawn on me until uh, he basically got taken away and I didn't see him for like almost a year, man. And shoot, went out of my mind in that whole process, man, trying to see him, trying to see what's going on with him, trying to see if he all right. Not even knowing if he'll be honest with you, not even knowing if he even still alive, bro. So just dealing with that, and that's when I realized, hey, I need to go ahead and put my best foot forward and try to see where it can take me.
All right, so let me ask you this: when you got from your opinion, when you have somebody who making it tough on you just to see your kid and you trying to be there, the best that you can, do you feel like they do that out of spite?
Most time, yeah, most time I feel like it is out of spite, man. it's coming from a place of bitterness, if you really want to call it. It's come from a place of bitterness. I don't know what could, cause it. Maybe, someone wanting to be in a relationship and the other person doesn't. And someone feel like, okay, they can hold this over your head. So yeah, it all comes from a place of spite and bitterness, man.
Right.
Mm.
So when I talk to like some of the guys, right, I always tell them like, man, to me, it's hard to transition from being like there with your kids every day to being
Mm-hmm.
every other weekend.
Yeah.
So like you kind of did it in reverse. You started every other weekend to day in and day out, right?
Right.
And I try to tell like some of my guys, I'm like, look, it's a difference when you with your kid every day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and to me, feel free to share your opinion. To me, the biggest difference is I don't feel like I had to spoil my kids as much versus, I got some partners that get their kids on the weekend and they out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He out
Yeah.
spending
Yeah.
money like every day that weekend. I'm like, man, I'm not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure they mental right. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to instill some stuff into them. But what's your thoughts on it? Just the difference.
Yeah, man, it is a big difference, man. Coming from uh being, like you said, being able to go, when you want to go, this is okay, this is my weekend. Oh, now I'm off this weekend, so I can go out with the fellas, to it being every weekend you got your kid. You gotta find babysitters, people that and then even when you find a babysitter, you gotta find babysitter that you trust,
Yeah.
because you don't want to just let your kid go with just anybody. But yeah, man, it's a big difference. It's a big change, man. The adjustment of school. School is probably one of the biggest things, because you want to make every school function. You want to make sure, especially if they athletic, if they in any extracurricular activities. So you got to get them to and fro from practice. You can't depend on anybody else. You got to get them there. You got to pick them up from games. You got to make sure you're at the games. You got to do this. So yeah, man, it's a big adjustment, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't for the weak. I'll tell you that.
Right. So like look, I was talking with KJ one day, right? And I was telling KJ, and even though I'm against the whole little child support system and especially women that's so quick to throw, the father of their kid on child support, I was telling him one day, I said, hey man, I wouldn't mind paying a little bit, just a little bit, for a little bit of peace sometimes, because I'm like, man,
Come on, a little bit of child support.
just a little bit, not that much, but just a little bit.
Yeah,
Because I was telling KJ, I said, hey man, you can go and come as you want. I said, you can get up and go to the store and nobody asking you for nothing. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Or you could, man, sometimes KJ, he'd go get something to eat 10, 11 p.m. I said, I can't do that.
You can't
You know
do
what
that
I'm
when you
saying?
got the kid in there.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can't do that, man. You know what I'm saying? By
Yeah,
shoes, 6, 7 o'clock, they hungry. As soon as they get home from school, they hungry. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
So I can't wait till 10 o'clock. Like, man, let me go to Taco Bell real quick before they close. You know what I'm saying? And
Right,
I was just
right.
trying to tell them, like, man, your life is a lot more peaceful. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because as I tell people, when you get your kid on the weekend, all you got to do is make them happy for
Right, right.
2-3 days. You send them
2
home.
days. You're right, right.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So it's like a 180. From
Hmm.
their world compared to ours.
Right, 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 right.
What would you like to elaborate on that one?
Yeah, man. It's a constant. Like I said, especially if they involved in stuff, man. Like involved in ball and stuff. So it's a constant awareness. Put it like that. It's a constant awareness that you gotta have. It's like you don't have that time to take a deep breath and breathe for a week and then okay, get back focused. Now you got to stay focused throughout the whole week, and then some, because you never know. Then, especially when it depends on how old they are. Now if you got a younger child, maybe what under 8, 7, 6, some in that area. So now you got to be attentive to every little need that they probably have. You know, fortunately, you know, my son right now, he's 14. So now he's able to, you know, kind of be more responsible and kind of tend to himself. And I don't have to be more attentive to him. Like I don't have to, when he first came, he was 8 when he first came. So now I'm having to come home from work, you know, try to find him something to eat, trying to cook, trying to do this, trying to make sure he do that, make sure his homework done. So now he's 14, so I'm able to kind of put more of the ownership on him. So yeah, so it's a process, man. Like I said, it's a growing process with it.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm glad you answered that, right? Because I was gonna ask you, you know, what age did you get, you know, the custody, you know, what age it is now. So you've been in there, so you've been in this game 6 years, like day in,
Yeah,
day out. And I hate to
yeah.
say this, but it's true, right? It kind of make you feel like single moms and baby moms feel, don't it? I mean, don't
Man, what's that post? What's that? I said it was a post I saw on Facebook. Somebody had one day, and I think it done circulated a few times. It said put put a single dad in a single mom's position. I bet he faint or he fall or something like that. It was some post like that.
it? Yeah,
No, like no, that ain't true. It's not true, man. I mean, it takes some getting used to, but once you get that rhythm, man, it's it's all flow. It all
yeah,
flows together. Yeah.
yeah. You know, I was telling somebody not too long ago, man, I was like, dude, when my girls got soccer, I hate soccer season because they
So
play.
you got good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and it's like I'm like, dude, they got a game every Saturday. Like, don't invite me. Pretty much during soccer season, you might well not invite me to nothing on the weekend. You know, like for real, especially in the
Yeah.
summer, like when it's hot. Man, I ain't finna go nowhere after they soccer game. I'm gonna be at the
Right,
crib chilling.
right,
Don't let them
right.
have a tournament where you got 4 games to go to in one day. You know, cause
Mm-hmm.
both, you know, I got 2 girls, so both of them had 2 games, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
different times of the day. So
Oh
I'm at the
yeah,
soccer field all day. I'm like, man,
yeah.
I can't wait for them to start playing basketball. At least we could be in the gym. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like shoot, if it's cold outside, I'm cool. If it's hot,
Yeah.
I'm cool because I'm in the gym. Like, man,
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Unfortunately, my boy, he played basketball, so he tried football for a little bit, but he kind of shied away from it. So, my boy, he's strictly basketball right now. He's doing his AAU thing. So,
I
yeah,
got you.
I
So
get it.
look, so once you go over on the full custody side,
Mhm.
do you feel like you got some the power, like once you got on that side of it? Because look, this is why I say this. I
Yeah,
feel like some women use them kids as a pawn, you know,
yeah,
because that's their leverage that they have over that person, over that guy, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like you got the power now.
You got the juice now.
Exactly, man. Uh, but I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, man. Like when it very first happened, you had that. Man, I'm human, man. You had that get back spirit. That get back, like, I'm gonna treat this. I'm gonna treat this just like she treated me, like the whole
Yeah.
time. But
Right.
after a while though, it's all about the kid though, man. Like you don't want to put him in a situation where he rebel, against you, rebellious against you. So, but I ain't gonna lie though, the role reversal does change. It changed. It goes from, hey, can I get my son this week to hey, you need to make sure he back at this certain time. It changes. It flips. Oh, and they hate it. They hate it. Well, they hate it. But but yeah, like I said, it's one of those things that is the big adjustment for everybody though, bro. It's a
Yeah.
big adjustment for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this also. And on both sides of it, like when you were the weekend dad and when you're the full-time dad, is it easy to identify the difference in upbringing from your household to their household?
Oh man, yeah, it was like that. Um, even when I was just getting them on the weekend, so I would have to hey redirect him. It took a lot of redirecting, man. Like what he was used to getting away with, with his mom. Now he see that he can't get away with it. And man, I tell you, shoot, the first, I gave this. Why I gave him. I gave him like a 3 month grace period because man, I ain't gonna lie, he was a handful, and I understood because he went through a lot. So I had to be patient with him. I had to be patient with him because he coming from a position or a situation where basically he didn't have no rules. I'm just talking about my situation. Basically, he didn't have no rules. He can do what he want to do, eat what he want to eat. He can go when he want to go, that type of stuff. With me, he can't do that. So it was a lot of clashing at the beginning, man. Especially with talking back. You know, I'm old school. You already know that I'm old school. When adults talking, kids go to the room. I'm that type of old school. When I say something, no, I got the last word. You don't get the last word. So it was a lot of redirecting that I had to do, with him. And he tried me a few times, man. I ain't gonna lie. He pushed the envelope. He pushed the envelope. Right now, if you look at the generation right now, from the level of young boys growing up, say boys to men, they're growing up, especially young black boys, they're not as tough. They don't go outside. Think about it. They don't go outside. The other day, my son kept coming in to get this music, for example. My son kept coming in and get bottles of water, bottles of water, bottles of water. You know what we did when we was outside hooping? Where is our water coming from?
The water hose.
The water hose. Water hose.
Shoot.
I said, son, man, you got water hose out there. Water hose. Like in their mind, they don't know that, okay, this is part of growing up. But yeah, I'm actually the opposite of that.
Yeah. Well, I've been seeing this here recently too. And I hope people are really trying. I hope they're not trying to make this a thing. This whole thing called gentle parenting. I hope people are not trying to make gentle parenting a thing, because I think that's too much. Like I get it, to each his own. I hate whooping my kids, but sometimes you gotta lay that law down.
Right.
Because to me, with the gentle parenting thing, and keep in mind, I don't, to each his own, but I just think about it long term. It's like you got to show these kids it's a consequence for everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if they're not being taught consequences, I mean, I don't care if it's putting them in timeout, but just talking to them like they're an adult, I kind of don't get it, but what's your thoughts on gentle parenting?
Man, I can tell you right now, ain't nothing gentle about me, man. Something that I struggle with, and I can be honest, transparent, man. Something I struggle with is showing compassion, if you want to call it. Knowing when to draw the line. I know what I want them to get. I know what I want them to understand, but at the same time, showing them, being that hardcore parent, and also at the same time showing them compassion. That's something that I struggle with at times. It's that balance. It's that balance. I don't whoop now. I don't like spank my kids now because they're so involved in so many extracurricular activities. Like my oldest son involved in basketball. So my youngest son, he's involved in football. So now my form of discipline is taking them out there, have them do belly flops, or we doing PT, an hour worth of PT. We go to the gym, we run it. That's my form of discipline. Of course, and also taking things away from them. Of course, they glued to the video game, so I may take their video game or their phone. You take their phone away from them, they act like they don't lost their life. So, those are my forms of discipline now. Because it take I can whoop them, and then that last 5 minutes they back to doing whatever they doing, whatever they did to get in trouble. So now I have to discipline them in a way that they look at it as discipline, but they also don't understand that it's getting them stronger, it's getting them better, it's getting them, mentally strong. So now my form of discipline is different. But that took time. That took time for me to, adjust.
Yeah. So no bear crawls.
Oh man, bear crawls, wall sits. You sit on the wall,
Yeah, yeah.
pick them chairs. Oh man, all that man. Toe 6 feet 6 inches.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
all that. Yeah, man. Think
Yeah.
about it, position. All that. Yeah, we do a lot, man.
Yeah. So
They think it's discipline. I mean, it is discipline, but punishment. But it's actually they don't understand that it's getting them better as well too.
yeah. So look, I got a question for you, right? In my personal opinion, most people raise their kids based off of their upbringing, so kind of like, mine was kind of tough, a lot of discipline. I had sports for structure, but we wasn't spoiled, so we didn't have a lot. But as I got older, it made me appreciate things, because I didn't grow up with everything. So I said that to say, if you look back if you look back at your upbringing, what was the number one thing that you would say you probably appreciated the most from your upbringing that you're trying to pass on to your kids?
Thing I appreciate the most, probably, man. I know you don't. I know you don't know much about kind of the upbringing on my end. But my mom was. I don't nobody really know this, but my mom was blind. Nobody know that growing up. But so I had to depend on myself a lot to do a lot of things. I had a lot of responsibility on me at an early age. But even going to do things for my mom, like I used to have to go pay bills, go get groceries, that type of stuff at an early age. I'm 12 years old going down here to the grocery store to pick up, groceries. So that's probably one of the biggest things, man, the responsibility that was tossed on me at an early age, and I I'm in between. I'm in between stages, put it that way. I'm in between stages of wanting to put more responsibility on my son, but at the same time, understanding he doesn't need to. Like I had to do it because I had to. He doesn't have to do it because I'm fully capable, of doing those things. So it's trying to draw in that line, and that I struggle with that. I struggle with that, man.
This the crazy. It's crazy that you say that, right? Because I know some people who kid will go in there, use the air fryer, make themselves noodles, everything pretty much like at like 9, 10 years old. And I'm like, that's cool for that parent. But at the same time, that's a kid. That kid should be a kid. So it's like I get it because your kid can do for himself and help you out, but it's like you kind of force that on them, kind of selfishly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm a firm believer in like, man, you only get to be a kid once,
Right,
and once them bills
right.
start coming, they don't stop.
Right.
So don't. I feel like you shouldn't bring a kid into that adult world too early because
man. Yeah, man, cut you off, man. That's kind of been my biggest thing though.
yeah.
Like trying to, because when he very first came, when I very first got him, one of my things I told him, I said, man, all I want you to do is focus on being a kid. That's it. You ain't got to worry about nothing else. Just focus on being a kid. School, get good grades. If you're gonna play ball, handle that. So putting that on him at that age, and then also as he getting older, like, okay, now you 13 now, man, you're a teenager, so now I need you to kind of start being a little bit more responsible. You know, I know you always used to depend on your dad to do this, do that, but these are some things that you can do for yourself now. So it's just kind of finding that balance, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy. It's not easy, man. Especially like you said, when you grew up a certain way.
Right.
So you trying to show them, okay, well, when I was your age, this is what I had to do. Like when I was his age, I had a job. I don't know if you remember that little local store, Wine Miller's,
Wine Miller,
little
yeah.
down the street.
Yeah.
You know, I would go down there and spray out the sidewalk. You know, stack the smokehouse. You know, get a little $20, $25, $30 here and there. You know what I'm saying? So it's trying to put that on him. Hey, go out and mow some yard, go rake some yard, go pull some trashes out. So I'm trying to teach them those type of things, man.
Yeah. Man, see, that's the crazy thing, right? Like back in our day, that's how we did, you know, because when I was like, 14, 15, before I could work legally, man, I had a little job working at the laundromat on Hazel Street. Just going in there sweeping up and stuff. Terrence, you know, my brother, they used to work at Smitty's, like going and dumping the trash, all that, you know, like before we was old enough to work. You know, they would just pay them a couple dollars. I mean, it wasn't much. Like I was getting paid like $18 a week, you know, or something like that, $20 a week. I think it was 18, actually. I don't know where the 18 came from, but whatever. I was glad to have it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was better than nothing. I couldn't do nothing but go to stage and get like one shirt, you know, but I worked for it, you know.
Right.
So to me, it's more of, you know, like I say, it's more of instilling stuff into your kids, like that work ethic, you know. Like I just had to talk with my oldest earlier today about work ethic, you know, like being driven. Like if you say you're going to do something, do it, you know what I'm saying? Work hard at it, you know? And, you know, I see the other side of that too. Like, you know, I got a nephew that I've only been around him like 3 times. And he like 26, and you know this is in Kansas City, and I be telling him like man, you gotta be a man of your word, you know. It's even something as simple as you telling me you gonna call me back and I don't hear from you. So I'm like, dude, you gotta be a man of your word. Like as a man, that's all you got. That's all we was taught. You know what I'm saying? All you got is your word and your balls.
Right. That's it.
You know,
that's it, man.
So, but at the same time, I know that my brother wasn't in his life like that. So he's never been taught these things, you know. And it's like, I hate to say it, at 26, he probably not gonna change. Not too much now. But I still try to, you know, let him know, like, man, you know.
Right. I get it.
But yeah, it's just a little tough situation, you know. So I think I really feel like you're doing the right thing. Like, you know, just give them a little bit at a time. Cause just like when I was in high school, I would tell people like, man, shoot, once I turned 16, I pretty much paid for most stuff that was pertaining to me, like cap and gown, prom,
senior stuff. Oh yeah.
All that, you know. So I'm like, I'm buying my own little clothes. It wasn't a bunch, but I'm like, I'm doing all this. So when I got to college, I seen Nick. I gotta mention this. Nick was talking about this. He was talking about how college shapes you and molds you. And I'm like, I disagree. Cause I'm like, I don't feel like I learned none of that in college, you know, as far as being out on your own, being responsible, because I was already doing it.
Right.
Now, him on the other hand, so look, that gives me a question to ask you. And, you know, we'll kind of wrap it up from there. I did an episode about not putting your kids out at 18, you know, at least until they either save up enough money or they 25 years old, whatever. Or basically when they mature enough mentally, then let them go. From your aspect, what age do you feel like you should try to push them away from the home?
Man.
If you're one of those 18-year-old, you grown, you gotta go, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I can respect that. But yeah.
18 is the mark. You know, once you finish high school, that is the mark. Now, I probably won't just push, because you either gonna go to college or you gonna go to work. It's either one or the other. You're gonna go to school or you're gonna go to work. One or the other. But if you choose to go to school, then of course, this is always can be a home for you to come back to. But if you gonna go to work, you're gonna have some responsibility. You're gonna have some bills. It's still gonna be some rules in the house. Man, ain't gonna be no coming in when you want to all times at night at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It ain't gonna be none of that. If you want to do that, then yeah, I gotta go ahead and push you on up out of there.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
You
So
still
look,
don't feel old school, man.
I feel that.